When you spilled, that's when you know there's too much. Alright, well, thank you for joining us, everyone. Welcome again to another episode of It's the Booze Talking. I am your host, James Jacobson, and yeah, let's just like jump into this. You guys have questions, or the internet has questions. I get drunk and I answer the question. Someone made a suggestion to me to try and record my blood alcohol level during filming, and so I bought this cheesy little breathalyzer in order to help me do that. So I will admit that I've had a few drinks already. As soon as I got off work, 0.18, so I am definitely not okay to drive. ×2. Let's get started on some of these questions here. Alright, why do frogs have such large sperm? Well, because it's not size that matters. Was that like a Christopher Walken impression that just happened? If I freeze glass, will it turn into sand? No. And the reason why is because technically sand is already a solid. It's just in little itty bitty pieces. And so when you freeze something, it's like you're turning something from a gas or liquid into a solid. And since it's already solid, you can't freeze it any more than that. It'll just be something else frozen plus sand. So yeah, there you go. Boop. I'm still maintaining at 0.18, which means I have to drink more. If the answer to life is 42, what is the answer to death? And to answer that, I will answer my answer with the answer of 24, which is the opposite. Palindrome, mirror, something. It's backwards 42, right? That's what we're getting at. Anything but this. 24 hours in a day. This is what I like to call a movie theater Coke. I also like to call it a intervention Coke, because you can't really see what's in it. I often go to parties or family events or outside, and I make myself one of these because, you know, there's just so much less judgment when people can't tell that you're drinking until they smell your breath. There is an arms race for the world's spiciest pepper. Why the hate for all other flavors? Why not the saltiest pretzel or the sweetest donut? Well, that's a good question, because I would love to like challenge someone to eat the sweetest donut, because that sounds really good. And like the spiciest pepper just sounds painful and not really enjoyable at all. I think that people just really like to watch other people puke on the internet. I have linear algebra homework. What part of the trilogy does Morpheus explain matrix transformations? What if I told you that the Matrix wasn't about math? Oh man, these suck. Okay, let's go to some other sources here. This one's from Amy, or as she likes to say, me. I mean, not me, but she signed her email to me as me. What is the appeal of Burning Man? I assume that she's talking about the desert festival, where a bunch of people go out there to like do drugs and party and listen to questionably good music and like have kind of this big festival where they wear funny things and eat funny things, and then like at some point they all like burn a big wooden human analog in the desert. And you know, there's some appeal there, because like, you know, being able to party outside the boundaries, or at least outside of the reach of most like local law authority, does have a certain amount of appeal. You know, just like let yourself be free and go a little crazy, but like in a safe way, right? But like that being said, it's like really dirty out there, and You know, at one time I was really interested in going to Burning Man, but like I felt like I needed to have someone like invite me to come with them, and that never happened. Even though I have a master's degree from UC Santa Cruz, where like it seemed like everybody and their freaking brother and sister went to Burning Man, and I've never been, and now I'm kind of too old. Like I'm 32 now, and you know, at one time I was really interested in going, but like the cost was really prohibitive. It was like hundreds of dollars for a ticket, and I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I have student loans, and so I made the like conscientious decision to not go, and now I feel like I've kind of missed that particular period. But I'm okay with that too. Like I don't really have any particular need, because like I'm not even really that. Like I like to drink. Like obviously I like to drink, but I'm not really like into like crazy drugs and stuff. So I don't know. So the appeal of Burning Man to like be free and party and like have a good time and like you know like most events like that, be with other like-minded individuals and like enjoy each other's company. It's just not for everyone. Which ocean is the wettest? You know, all oceans are pretty wet, pretty darn wet, right? So I guess you have to judge that one based on how into it you are. Because from my experience, some people just don't get as wet in some places as they do in other places. And that's just something you're going to have to figure out for yourself. .22. We're moving up in the world. Normally, if I was to look at this, I would say I should stop drinking right about now. But that's not how we do this. If scientists are so smart, why aren't wind turbines made out of solar panels? That's actually not a bad idea. Sometimes toast is so good. You ever have that when you eat bread and you hiccup? So put that in your pipe and smoke it. Why do submarines look like dicks? Well, it just seemed like the natural way to get something through a whole lot of wetness. Think about if submarines didn't look like dicks, or think about if water wasn't wet. Submarines wouldn't go very far. Okay, so at this point, I'm not really seeing anything too inspirational. I think I've got some good stuff today. So for what? Oh, you know what? Let's do a final BAC meter. We are at .25, and I think officially that is more than 3 times the legal limit. So with that, I bid you all salutations and good night. And as always, I leave you with, just because you don't know how to do something doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. I'm James Jacobson. Good night.